Welcome to Portfolio Builders Club. Today we're going to take a little bit of a deep dive, into Tesla and go a little into the fundamentals here and look at the overall movement of the price. So as you see, we've been in the uptrend for since last year, and we're continuing to stay above the 100-day moving average so far. But we did have a pullback that started maybe December 12th of 2024 and, has continued as a pullback into this 100-day moving average. We did get our first bounce off that. We did push back down into it. So what we're doing right now is watching this counter trend line to see if price can get above that, which would somewhat indicate that we're moving back up to the upside again. The same thing we're going to do is look at the 25-day moving average and see if that price gets above that as well. But right now, from a averaging in sort of standpoint, we see a value price right here at about 330 to 345 roughly, and then the next value price would be around $300 a share. But otherwise, if we're waiting to see when the push would actually occur, or the potential for the push to occur back to the upside, we would continue to look at this trend line and the moving average, the 25-day moving average, to make that determination. That's just from a technical standpoint of looking at this. This is a daily chart. So as we look at some of the news and things that have come out on the organization, we can just take a look here. Let's flip over to the financial statement side of things, and let's just look at the overview. We can look directly at the news. So you have all these different tabs when it comes to TradingView. Put all your information all in one spot, so it's a really good thing to use. But you have some news. We'll just look at these headlines here regarding, a big pension is up in their stake in multiple companies, and Tesla being one of those. You also have things that are correlated in some ways. And the question is, when you refer to Elon Musk and his other endeavors and that sort of thing, sometimes folks look at that as positive for Tesla as well. But NASA picks Musk SpaceX for near-Earth object surveyor mission. So I would assume that results in some sort of contract for SpaceX, which would be positive for them. And then we go on and we talk about some robotaxi information here. Tesla rejects robotaxi partnership with Uber, so that can mean that they want to keep all that to themselves, or, it could mean something else there. But, we're just looking at the headlines. You can go deeper into these stories if you want at the different news organizations where the story resides. But also you have this news here regarding recall. So this was about 18 hours ago. It looks like Tesla recalls 380,000 vehicles in the U.S. over power steering issue. So that, could have some impact on the overall stock price as well. So as you see, there's several headlines that are occurring that can be construed as positive. Maybe some is middle of the road, some maybe negative. But overall, with any organization, of this size, you're going to expect there to be a lot of news and a lot of things being said and negotiations going on and that sort of thing. So you have to continue to sort of watch that to kind of get a better feel for how that really will turn out. So that's your news there. Let's go ahead and flip over to the financials. So looking at the financials, again, Elon Musk is the CEO of this organization. So anything that he does, is going to have some reflection on the organization, and it's hard to predict, with the price of this particular stock, because it could be based on something that's going on with him personally or just other things that he's doing. So otherwise, let's just take a look here let's go here to the overall performance. So if we look at the quarterly performance and we look at the income, you'll notice that back in 2023, we actually had more income than we had all the quarters of 2024. Now, we did initially experience a dip in the revenue in the first quarter of 2024, but that revenue seemed to have come right back up for the rest of those quarters, but the income didn't really come up. So that could mean that they were selling more product for less and therefore not making a profit, as much profit as they were making previously. It could be certain product lines that they put out that maybe are not assisting in that either, where they're not able to make as much profit on some of their newer offerings. So if we look at the revenue to profit conversion, you can sort of see that, you had this revenue of $25 billion, and then you have this this cost of goods sold at negative $21.53 billion. So it cost a lot to deliver these cars, So then you look through all your gross profit, operating expense, operating income, non-operating income expenses, and taxes and other, and then you get your net income of $2.31 billion as that net income. So that matches what you have there, of course, but this is the breakdown of that. So you can kind of see that cost of goods sold really has a big impact on how much profit they really can make, and otherwise it's very slim. So. All right. If we look here, let's just look at the earnings. Again, the last 3 of the last 4 quarters, they did not beat on earnings. So they only beat one time out of 3 of the last 4 earnings quarters. So next earnings quarter earnings will be reported on April 29th rather. So we'll see what happens on the 29th. All right. All right, so that sort of gives you an overview overall of what's going on there from a fundamental standpoint. Let's jump back into the charts again. And one of the things that a lot of folks may think about as well is who's investing. If you hear about, let's say, Congress people, people within Congress who are investing in an organization, are they investing because they have inside information, or are they just investing because this is one of the appropriate times to invest? So that's something that you have to ask. A lot of people think that they know a little bit more, and maybe they have an inkling of something that may be coming, as being more informed individuals, I guess, in general. But at a point, you have to ask yourself also, or do they have analysts and people around them that are actually looking at these charts and looking at the value prices, and they're just going along with what anyone would do in that situation, meaning they are more informed only because they are around people who know finance and know, the stock market, and understand, what a value price might be. And then are they also looking more long term? Because right now this is moving up. Tesla has a lot of other products that they may offer in the future, including robotaxi was one of them we mentioned, and then the other might be humanoid robots. So this might be very early for Tesla if all these things remain under Tesla. The other thing they may know is maybe Elon Musk will get his $100 billion, released to him as compensation. And I guess that will open up some more questions for many people, because then the question is, will he stay with Tesla once he gets the money? Or would that give him the opportunity to move on from Tesla, and maybe what could he bring with him if he were to create another company for particularly the humanoid robot division of what they have currently? So, we don't know that would happen, but the question, these raise questions and concerns and optimism also at the same time. So as we continue to watch Tesla stock, we'll see if it starts to push up from here. Let's just take a look at the Fibonacci as well from that move early. Let's go back to the move prior to the move in November. And if you look here, you can see that if we go from that full move all the way up, we've already traced back to the 61.8, which is considered our golden zone where price might bounce and then continue up, and it'll make another leg, maybe the same length of this leg potentially, which will take us way out into the future here, way above. Let's see, way above $600, So that is the question. Yeah. Will this either bounce again here and then take off? Will it come down to the $300 level and then take off? But in this zone, in this area, is where a lot of people are thinking there's value. So you have to consider that, I guess, in what happens next. Even though you see that we've been in a downtrend since December, you still have to consider when will the bounce happen, or if the bounce will happen. So we'll have to continue to watch this. And again, with the CEO, that's sort of unpredictable. You never know what, could be said or done that might impact the price. But from the technicals and we look through some of the fundamental information about the organization, there's no reason to think that it won't just continue to go in with this uptrend that's already established. So we'll continue to watch that and monitor it, and that's what it requires, monitoring, to be able to determine if we change our thesis about this organization and whether or not we think that it's no longer going to gain value.